perspective. And then we'll actually spend some time in sharing with you the brand, the industry, and the business model. I'm Venus Parak. I'm the CEO of Fran Global. Fran Global. We are a market entry firm, and what we try and do is connect global concepts with global markets. India is our home market. This is the largest market we service. We are privileged to be servicing the market for over 26 years now. We are a team of almost 1,200 people and work with almost 80% of the franchise industry here in India, and very excited to do so. So I think before I bring the brand of today, let me share, because there's a lot which has happened in this industry. So today's brand, we work, of course, franchising is not agnostic to any industry. We all know that. But there are what we call retail, brick and mortar, capital heavy businesses and franchisees, and there is a audience, and there is a there's a market for that. And then we also have what we call service franchisees, which are mostly learning and development led. They are very time heavy in comparison with capital heavy. So today's brand, Commuter Explorer, is actually a brand which is a service brand, education and learning brand, and from an industry which has seen and has been through so much in last 4 years, edutech. It was a hot topic in the first 3 years of pandemic. Uh, Billions and billions and billions of dollars actually were poured in. Yes, we all can say that that particular market scenario was not sustainable, and eventually it sort of showed itself as well, because learning, especially when we are dealing with children of a certain age, cannot be rammed through your throat. I'm sorry, I'm using this word. It is about a sustainability. It is about kids having access. It's about also having a program which actually makes kids empowered and makes them learn at a fundamental level. So I think that's where I can say that today's brand, Kabira Explore, has been doing that globally, and they have built a program which is sustainable and can work through different ages, and it is driven by franchising. In fact, Stuart, who is the CEO of Commuter Explore, in fact, he started as franchisee and then eventually took over the brand. It is a beautiful journey. And that's the kind of entrepreneurs we are looking for in India. This is an amazing opportunity, not very capital intensive. Again, it's not without the let's say the investment, but it is an investment if it is done with the right approach, and with the commitment that this would require a lot of marketing, a lot of at least couple of people who can manage this. Then it can be an interesting business. We will share with you today what the brand is, what is the what is the offering, where we are today, and of course eventually the financials. But I guess this would be more suitable for people who are looking to maybe already in learning and development, wanting to diversify their portfolio, or sorry, expand their portfolio. Also, it can also suit for people who are maybe professionals wanting to become turning into entrepreneurs, whether a couple. So this is a business which would require a lot of time from your end, a lot of marketing. It's a local business. It is a multi-channel business. So you have to understand all those aspects. And we are looking for ambitious people. Actually, that's what is required. This is a very emerging, very evolving industry. We need people who are ambitious, who can work hard. If you do that, the system works. The program is top notch in the world. And Stuart, and we have Richard as well today. Richard, I know Richard for a long time. He has a massive background in franchising, in global business development. And of course, he has joined Stuart and Computer Explorer. So it's, well, first of all, welcome both of you, Stuart and Richard. Look forward to hear from you. And eventually, I have my colleague Sviraj, who would also help us with kind of Indian numbers. He would be able to talk Indian numbers. But this is a live session. So we're live on YouTube. We are live on Zoom here. You should be able to ask your questions in the Q&A box. And let's make it happen. Welcome, Stuart. Welcome, Richard. And welcome, Sviraj.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Venus.
Thank you very much, Venus. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. So, Stuart, we'll hear from you. You would make the presentation today?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can run through that with you.
Let's go ahead.
Fantastic. So, thank you very much for joining us all. Make this start. There we go. So, we're for Computer Explorers. It's a UK-based brand, and we're ultimately here and we want to prepare children for the future. That is our absolute mantra. And from underneath, we do it through them having fun, and they learn because they've had fun. So it's all active discovery, it's all hands-on learning through play motion. Computer Explorers is part of a wider group, it's part of the Explorer group, which features alongside another education brand. And we are looking at growing through our international footprint. We've got a few businesses in other countries set up in different ways, and we run our programs through working in schools. So we'll go and take over the IT lessons in schools. We run through after school clubs, we go into holiday camps, we work in theatres, in hospitals, where the hospital school might be, community settings, anywhere that children will go, we will go and meet them and run our programs for them in that environment. But again, most importantly, we have fun and the children learn as a result. So our journey started in 2006. It was based in the US before us, and came across to the UK in 2006. And throughout that journey, it's been really exciting. As Venus said, I started as a franchisee in 2019. Perfect timing, as we all know what happened. But despite that, we've grown the brand. We now see in the UK alone 30,000 children a week. Up and down slightly, but a good approximation there is 30,000 children a week. We've got some fantastic milestones along the way, and we're looking at growing and bringing everyone else along with us. In the last year alone, we've seen in the UK 380% growth, which has been quite exciting for us, and that doesn't seem to be slowing down. So I think you've been introduced to Richard already. Here's the rest of our head office team. So we've got myself, we've got Siobhan, who's our marketing director, been around the industry for a long, long time, and absolutely fantastic. Alan works with the UK team on network development. Richard joined us, was it 6 weeks ago, Richard?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, literally 6 weeks ago, to help us grow and really capitalise on what we're doing and make sure we're absolutely solid in our growth. And then Gemma, who works in our finance team. When we look at it and we pitch at the challenges of what the education and the edtech sector features right now. So if you think of schools to start with, got insufficient and outdated technology. The technology moves at such a fast pace. We all know that within 6 weeks, the last piece of technology, if you buy a laptop, it's out of date within 6 weeks. There's always something new coming. And schools face that exact environment when they're trying to do that across multiple subjects. We then come into confidence and the ability of the teaching staff. So throughout teacher training and in that when they're learning to teach, such a small part of it is actually on computing curriculum. So we look at that and we go, okay, so that's one element. Technology with AI just coming just around the corner, that is something new that teachers have to try and keep up with all the time. So we have developed the program that enables us to produce the lesson plan so that our staff can keep at the forefront of technology, delivering the best lessons as we go. And the other side of it is it's everything that is out there, everything that already exists is one structure. You start from the beginning, you work through to the end. And actually, that needs to be personalised to students in front of you. You need to understand what they're trying to achieve, where some are struggling, and we can really personalise the content and scaffold it so that we're hitting the needs of the audience in front of us. So our concept in business, we've got innovative education model. It takes learning to the students and reduces on the overhead costs. It's in a really niche market. We're specialising in the edtech sector. We're going through franchise-driven expansion. This enables us to grow and have people that really care about the project. This is a great placenta for generating profit, but ultimately, it's not all about that for us. For us, it's about delivering the message to the children, preparing them for the future. And then focusing on future readiness. So having a nice forward-thinking approach, making sure we stay out in front and really become the standard in the industry. So our objectives from where we are expanding our global reach. We are enhancing our curriculum and teaching methodologies. So we're just going through, we're constantly looking, making sure we stay at the front of everything we do, researching the latest technologies and trends and making sure we're passing that on to the students. And then we're strengthening our community and industry partnerships. We've got some fantastic partnerships with some great bodies and that all really represent us, and we will be doing a lot more with them in the not too distant future. So when we look at the market potential, and I think Venus and Siraj will tell you more about this from an India perspective shortly, but schools find delivering the subject challenging. As we've spoken already about the confidence and access to resources. The top skills deemed are lacking due to emerging talent, the workplace, including programming, web development, cybersecurity. You know, the industry norm and all the research that's been done is 85% of the jobs that will exist in 2030 don't exist yet today. And I can liken that to a web developer, for example. If you wind back the clock 5 years, it would be one person that built your website, did your content, did the structure, the architecture. Now it's a team of people that pulled together to produce a great result. And with 65% of the population, you know, under 30 and 30 of those under 14, this is really is our prime market. We've got a range of over 300 courses to really hit the needs of the children. And the one bit that people really miss is computing is so creative. This is what's important when we pass on the children. It's not just about coding. That's such a small part of computing. When you think there's building apps, building websites, doing graphic design, programming robots, the engineering aspect. And the global market is in the hardware and services sector is currently worth £123 billion. And that's only forecasted to grow by quite a significant number for 2030. So how that makes us a little bit different. So when you compare us to a sort of an online course provider, online courses have a completion rate of only about 15%. People get bored, they get tailed off, and they lose lack of interest, especially in children. Teachers believe in digital learning, and student preference is to have a mix, actually. And 84% of college students prefer learning with the aid of technology. So we know it's there, we know the demand is there, we know children understand it. We can take those benefits and we can integrate it into their curriculum and start building for success in the future. So how does it work? We use our state-of-the-art curriculum and we're able to localize that per master region if required, using active discovery techniques. We have our learning center and we can give access level control. So the different people in the industry, giving different, with your teams around you. We use non-specialist teaching staff to deliver our sessions. So we will recruit people off passion and drive and what they can bring and engage the children, and the lesson plans follow. And very soon we have our training academy for instructors to launch. This is based on the UK, but for a typical franchisee that starts and where our network goes. So we have 92% franchisee satisfaction across our 32 UK franchisees. Since 21, the network has grown 58%. Our average net profit for franchisees is 58%, and 94% of our partners would recommend us. And comparing that to a few UK numbers, in 2020, we were about £300,000 in turnover. And by the end of this year, we should keep going the way we are. We'll hit our 2 million target.
Oh.
Excuse me. So if I break that down to how our franchisees earn their income. So a small proportion of that is from their weekend classes, although it's a growing market for us. After school classes, roughly 30% of their income is dedicated to straight after school learning those classes. A smaller area of nurseries and preschools, fantastic opportunity again. Working in schools and workshops, so taking over the IT lessons, again, just over a third. And the remainder is holiday camps, which again is really growing sector. But you can see the nice walk up, they take their net profit averaging around the 60% mark. So for anyone, we believe this is a realistic turnover growth plan for any franchisee in any master region. And we built this on the basis of, in year one, just adding 5 franchisees. And if we keep doing that and keep growing, and by year 5, we've got to 60 franchisees, we're looking at a pretty healthy turnover in the end. Again, Venus and the team will go through this in a bit more detail with you on India status. Our national marketing strategy produced by Siobhan. So it's multi-channel approach, and some of the traditional methods work amazingly when it works to deals with coming with schools. So we go through events, we use social media, we go through award ceremonies. We have an abundance of reviews from everyone that attends our classes. We create the content for our franchisees and for our master partners, and then it's down to them to localize it to their local markets. And then passing it over to franchisees, they will follow a similar pattern that we set out for them. And that's a brief run through of us.
Sure. I think before Swaraj come, I have one question, Stuart, because actually 2 questions. One is, I'm sure you also face the same questions with regards to, okay, there are so many online players who are providing the coding courses, and they are so much cheaper. It's free on YouTube. So I think, and I understand the difference between, because ultimately what you are actually doing is imparting learning, and there's a difference there. But how do you tackle those questions? That's one. Second, how you really build, even as a franchisee, I know you acquired the brand. What was the first 2 years like for you when you kind of, got into this business to eventually become so ambitious and acquire this brand? Because I think we need to be able to share that story with the people here.
Yes, of course. So interestingly, part of that, when we officially launched my own franchise, when I first joined, as we know, we went into schools and we did the after school club market. And then unfortunately, in the following April, the COVID hit and the business locked down, and we had to adapt slightly and explore the online market. So we got really good experience in this sector at the same time because we adapted the business model to fit at the same time. And what we found was that it was great. It's a great opportunity. And for some children, it really worked because they were quite laser focused on what they were doing. For other children and for the instructors, we lost, I would say, a good 50% of the interaction with the children. They couldn't pick up the objects. They couldn't program something and make it happen in front of them. You lost that real light bulb moment in their face. And although you went through the content and you progressed things a lot faster, the retention dropped off. And we haven't got an official number on this, but I would say they were taking in 70% less than actually hands-on doing it through learning. So that's really interesting that, and I'll tell people that story all the time because it's really relevant. And I can like this, if you were asked to do an e-learning presentation or learning objective for your workplace, how much of that do you actually enjoy? How much do you take in? And we all know the answer to that.
Right.
So hopefully that answers your question on that one.
It does, and in fact, there are now studies how kids actually have suffered those 2-3 years when the schools were closed. There's actually a global learning loss which has happened, and ultimately, learning, especially for children, has to be cohesive in nature. And so that's a good sort of answer to the question I asked. And how about, I think I really love the journey which you have had, and it has been fairly quick. Like you said that you started this and then eventually COVID hit. So you started with selling it to schools, but then came online and you're back. How is this business, how you can scale this business from your perspective, which can be relevant to someone who is looking at this in India?
So there's multiple channels, and this is the one thing that we face. Richard will tell us every day is I will have a phone call or someone will put something into our inbox every day. Oh, could you come and do this? Because there are children in just about every sector. And like I said, we work in theatres, we work in hospital schools, we work in normal schools, we work in private schools, in special needs schools, in nurseries. We're starting to move into the secondary market. But we'll look after in the UK, it's up to year 9, which is about 13 years old, so I'm not quite sure what that equates to. So the opportunities are only limited by the person who's running the business, because you can explore as many of these as you like. We've got some adult learning programs going on where we're doing some work. We have the Prince's Trust in the UK, which is 16 to 25s who haven't quite figured out where they want to go in life, what their end goal is, what career they want to progress into, and we need to work with them to inspire what their next course might be, or what their journey might look like. So again, it's only limited by the business owner in control, because you could explore as many of these revenue streams.
And that's where you want the franchisee to spend their most time is exploring these different channels. So going to schools and doing these maybe seminars, is that the key to success?
I think, sorry, yeah, I think the key is understanding the solutions that we are providing and the personal experiences that we can offer in their education journey. Each school has needs. There's pupils all over the UK that have different needs for coding, robotics, technology, engineering, and it's ensuring that our franchisees have the right information when they approach the schools to offer these solutions, because we do see a lot of inquiries coming in on a daily basis. But that's working on our relationships and reputation over the last 15, 20 years in the UK, ensuring that we can deliver, but ensure making it fun and it's engaging, and that the kids on their and word of mouth is where it spreads. And that's why we're getting so many inquiries, because people are seeing what we're doing. You're seeing it on LinkedIn, you're seeing it on social media. Reputation obviously grows, but we focus on our ethics and vision on where we can go and being part of that journey. So ensuring that we find the right franchise partners that want to join that journey is really key to us, because they've got to have the same passion that we have, but we're helping the children develop individually in their education program and process. And that's important to us.
And is that majorly done through schools, or we are doing individual classes? As far as I understand,
it's a mixture. I mean, if there's a need for it, there is. We encourage our franchisees to run their own classes in community centres. You know, if there's a need for it and there's a demand for it, and it's obviously viable, then we will support it. But it's about the franchisees wanting to grow their business in different revenue streams and different opportunities. They don't necessarily always have to go into school. But if you build a relationship with a school, you can generate reoccurring revenue because of the solutions that you're offering, the education and the IT division. You know, so if we can get into special needs, or we can get into nurseries or into hospitals, and then on the side do extra classes, everybody's getting this. So there is a need for education in technology in the UK for youngsters and children at different levels.
We are talking about India here, though. So I understand UK is a very mature market.
It's the same. It's creating that community. It's creating that you're giving something back to the community and helping those children in Mumbai, Delhi develop. You know, you're giving them the services and the opportunity to do extra research and curriculum and grow, because there's a need everywhere. Same in the US, same in Australia, same in Singapore. We all know that children suffered during the pandemic, but the question is how we can now improve and deliver a better solution for them to continue their journeys.
I totally agree with you. And I think I'm sorry, I'm being very frank, but it has happened that the tech education has somewhat also become commoditized. But I think that commoditization mostly is at the adult level. Because, someone who is already a programmer, they will upskill themselves. But at the level where Computer Explorer is really working is at a very fundamental level. We're working with children, as young as 5 or 6 years old, right, Stuart and Richard?
Starting with threes.
3.
3 years old.
3 years.
So 3 years old. So again, so that at that age, so our courses are at a very fundamental level. So the commoditization, if it is there, I know in India, because tech is a very big part of what India is today, IT, right? And but yes, we have seen these courses. They are not as let's say the child. Ultimately, it's about the child having the fundamentals clear. So that's where there's still a space to be covered where it is not as commoditized. An opportunity in India is definitely schools. But I would like to add that, if you totally depend upon schools, you are exposing yourself too much from a business standpoint. You have to have weekend classes. I think that is a money maker. Summer camps is going to be huge, massive, and that's a direct bulk wholesale business which you have. And of course, some weekdays classes, some. So this you have to, as a franchisee, I think if you really want to do this business, you have to, as Stuart mentioned, and again, see, he bought a franchise, now he owns the brand. He knocked on every door, and that's the kind of people we need.
Sure. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Richard, for presenting your brand. So I will take you through to the financials of this brand. Just give you a quick understanding of the investment, how the P&L is looking, and how the returns are. So what we have done is that we have kept the capex as the first slide, just to give an understanding what is the investment. So we have kept Computer Explorer and Active Explorer separately. So if anyone is interested to go in for Computer Explorer, then he has to pay a franchisee fee of 10,36,000. If it is Active Explorer separately, it is again another 10,36,000. But if he is going in for both the brands together, then it is 15,55,000 Indian rupees. The IT infrastructure needed is 1,03,670. So the infrastructure remains the same. So for both the brands taken together. And for the training, there is a separate cost, which is for 10,36,000. So the total investment comes to 26,95,000 Indian rupees. I'll move to the revenues part. So if you're talking about revenues for after school classes, it is working out to 15,84,000. So we have tried to give a idea on the number of classes, the number of students, the sessions, the terms, the hours, and the charges per child which is there. So which gives that after school classes, there is a total earning yearly of 15,84,000 Indian rupees, which is 47,520 pounds. In nurseries and for weekly classes, whatever our feasibility study and our predictions say, we will be able to generate a revenue of 10,80,000 rupees INR, which is 29,150 pounds. For school workshops, it will be 3 lakh INR. And for primary and secondary schools PPA cover, it will be 12 lakhs. And weekend clubs will give 4,20,000 INR. And as Venus and Stuart was saying, that holiday clubs and holiday activations will give another 4,80,000 yearly to the total revenue. So the total average comes to 50,64,000 revenue in 1 year, when the investment you can see is around 26,95,000. So if I directly go to the P&L statement year upon year, so the first year, the proposed revenue generation is 50,64,000 INR. In the second year, there is a scaling which goes up to 17,89,000. And in the third year, it is 85,07,000. So if we consider on the payback period, your payback will be in 13 months, that is max 1 year on the investment which you are doing. We also have done an area deal just to give you an understanding how an area franchisee will work. So in area franchisee, the deal will be at 65,85,000 INR, and the revenue from this investment will be 1 crore 20 lakhs, in which you earn so if the 65,85,000 is actually divided into the unit setup cost which is there. So in first year you have to set up 4 units, second year 4 units, and third year 2 units. So total 10 units in 3 years is what we are looking out for one area. So if you are considering the main cities like Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, Bangalore as one area. And definitely the revenue also scales accordingly. So from 1 crore 20, the second year it goes up to 1 crore 95 lakhs. Then it goes up to 1 crore 96 lakhs in INR. And the total revenue which we are projecting for 3 years will be around 5 crore 12 lakhs. So if you see the total EBITDAs per year will be 31 lakh 71,000, and the ROI is at 48% on the first year, which incrementally goes up to 138 to 227%. And the return, that is the ROI, is in 20 months. So it roughly works out to around maximum to around 1 year, 9 months. So this is how the entire revenue model is, which we felt that is a very, very, very scalable model, and it can work very, very, very effectively in all the cities. The main aim of the franchisor should be that he should be able to scale up his business, and he should be able to focus and connect to the right audience which is there. And this basically comes in if he has good connects in the education industry, if he knows the right people, he knows the right connects which are there in the available market. And I think that will help him scale up his business, because as soon as he starts up his own and then he sets an example as a franchisee unit, then definitely all these things helps him to grow the business totally. So that's all from our side as far as the financials are concerned. If anyone has any questions, you can share it on the Q&A box. We will be happy to take up your questions and give the correct answer. I will also share with you my details on the chat box, so that you can be in touch with me for any further questions or any further details you would like to have. Thank you.
Thank you, Swaraj. So ideally, we are looking, so although this business can be done single unit, because typically doesn't have any inventory issues where, so if you want to buy an individual franchise, I think we can have that conversation with Stuart. However, ideally, this is going to be more meaningful if you are looking at a region. The investment would be, let's say, about 1 crore. And you can really build a business which actually turns over 1 crore or two every year, starting year 2, if you become a regional franchise. So that's actually our focus. I think that, so if you are looking to invest into an education franchise, reach out to us. Someone asked that there is a lot of competition. Yes, I mean, everything is a competition. Competition is good. You talk about, and this is learning and development. Before COVID, there were 70,000 preschools in India. Almost half of them were franchised. So competition is always good. And tech education, especially in children, has become very competitive. That's a good thing, which means that it is mainstream now. India, I mean, so I got the stats today that India has, there are 25 million children born in India every year. 25 million. No, I think nowhere else in the world. And every child needs to be tech savvy, because that's the future. Our 55% of our economy is still service industry, very much unlike China. And our children, technology, of course, has been a major reason for transformation of where India is today, and it always will be. Cheapest internet in the world. So I think if a child is not tech savvy, how would they join the economy 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line? And what Computer Explorer today is actually working with a 3-year-old child and making them comfortable with what actually technology is, which, of course, at my age, I can never understand, right? But for a child, it's important. So that's where we are, and we look forward for your response. Stuart, Richard, anything before we go?
No, it's a great opportunity. We're looking forward to coming into India and working with our franchise partners, and we really appreciate all the support Frank Global are offering us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Stuart?
Again, thank you very much for having us. We're really excited about it, and we will work. Yeah, we hope to meet some of you soon.
Right. And I think
You.
the questions, the surface questions of competition content, we'll have those questions, don't worry. But eventually, if you want to have a meaningful discussion, we have to work on a business plan. We have to work on a research document. Stuart doesn't want to, and Richard they don't want to partner with wrong people. They've had so many people coming in from India and asking for a franchise. The reason is they understand, and we also understand that how critical India is, and so we only want to work with people who are looking at this seriously and will put their time into it. This is not just a brick and mortar business. You have to put time. If you don't put time, you can't earn money actually. So that's what it is. Thank you, Swaraj. You put in your information.
Yep.
Okay, so and otherwise you can visit us at all Fran Global social media handles, franglobal.com. You will find our information there. We are doing a show on 18th and 19th of this month in Delhi. So meet us there, and we can talk about Computer Explorer or any other opportunity you want to discuss. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.